Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're talking about the NBA draft in this one. Got some predictions for you guys. In this one, I'm going to break down some of the top bets for the NBA draft. So let's get into it. And just looking on DraftKings here, you can bet on like every single pick, which is pretty cool. And you can do that on most sports books as well. And with these in particular, if you're not arbitrage betting these, you might as well just not even bet on the NBA draft, honestly, because compared to like a normal game line like the MLB, you're not going to get much of an arbitrage betting opportunity on just like a single game. For the NBA draft, you're going to get massive arbitrage opportunities. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, definitely click the link down below. It'll take you to this site that gives you the top bonuses for all the top sports books here. So we're going to do some line chopping, arbitrage betting in this one so I could show you what I'm talking about. But let's get into it. So the first one, when I'm betting on something like the NBA draft, I want to get some value here. I don't want to bet on the top guy here at minus 250 because I'm barely going to win anything if this hits. So I don't even think that's worth betting on. I still think Alex Sarr here at plus 600 to be the first pick is great value. I mean, there's no really concrete evidence that the Atlanta Hawks, Shea here, number one. I still think that Sarr's in the mix to be taken number one by Atlanta, or there's also been rumors they could trade out of the number one spot for someone who really likes Sarr, and they could take him number one as well. I would just definitely be going with this value. Okay, pick two, we're also going to have a ton of value opening up here. If we do think Sarr's going first, we're going to keep rolling with this. If Sarr is not first, I think he's definitely second, but that's minus 650 here. The way you can make a ton of money betting on the NBA draft here is if you can predict like the top 7 picks, and especially if it's not going to be chalk like Shea, Sarr, Shepard in the first 3. If you're taking non-chalk in a draft that I think is going to be very unexpected because there's not really clear-cut guys here that look like they're going to be stars. So I think a lot of surprises can happen in this one. And if you could predict some of those, you're going to make a ton because we already got at plus 600 here. You know, it's $10 to pay out 70. So if we're right on Sarr 1, Washington really liked Sarr is what has been reported. I haven't heard anything about them being connected to Shea here, and I think they could go Donovan Clingan at number 2 because they've already been rumored to be interested in a defensive big man in Sarr. So if they like Clingan, almost the same and still want to go big man, I think it makes a lot of sense for Clingan to go here. It's crazy at plus 1,600. If you just get these first 2 picks right, you could turn $20 into $240 by taking these. So pretty insane off the bat there. Another one, if Sarr does go first, could be Reed Shepard here at plus 2,000 is another one to keep in mind for pick 2. Could go that route as well. Then number 3, Reed Shepard is at minus 160. I've seen him higher on a bunch of other sites. Like coming over to BetMGM, the third pick, Shepard, is minus 190 here. So you definitely want to take that over on DraftKings. Actually, a pretty big amount of savings if you're going to go Shepard at number 3. And then number 4 is kind of where it gets crazy. So if we think it's Sarr, Clingan, Shepard, at 4 to the San Antonio Spurs, I think Stephon Castle does make a good amount of sense here, unless the Spurs have a plan in place, which we'll get into in a minute. I think they could go elsewhere besides Castle. And at 4, obviously we have Shea falling here in our mock draft. So I would say that at plus 500 here, 4th overall, I think definitely some good value and makes sense. Obviously, if we go Sarr and Clingan with the first 2, I still think Shepard would go 3 to Houston. I think they do want a guard in Houston because Fred VanVleet is, so much older than all the other guys on their roster. I think they want to go younger at guard here. And really, besides VanVleet, they only have Jalen Green. But then you can get Shea here at plus 500 to be the 4th overall pick. Another guy that I think in play here is going to be Matas Buzelis and he's plus 600 to be the 4th overall pick on DraftKings. BetMGM, he's plus 800, which is a massive difference, obviously. On BetMGM, it would be 10 to win 90 versus DraftKings would be 10 to win 70 on the same bet. So definitely a huge difference and a great arbitrage betting opportunity. Like we talked about in the beginning, you can get some massive differences like this just by being on multiple sports books. Okay, so then 5, the Detroit Pistons. I was hearing in the past couple of weeks that they really like Dalton Connect here, and he's plus 1,000. Most people have Buzelis here as the 5th pick to Detroit, but I kind of like Connect at plus 1,000 for the value, especially $10 to win 110 on him. Detroit definitely needs shooting. Everywhere you see Connect being drafted in the top 8. And I think Detroit will go after the shooting of Dalton Connect to pair with 2 playmaker slashers in Ivy and Cunningham. They really just need shooting in Detroit. If those guys are going to pan out into eventual stars or all-stars, they got to surround him with some shooting. I think Connect makes a lot of sense here versus Buzelis, who shot terribly in the G League. And again, another massive difference on BetMGM. You could take Connect to be the 5th pick for plus 1,300. It's a plus 300 difference here from 1,300 to just 1,000 on DraftKings. So another great arbitrage betting opportunity here if you're going to go with something like this. I mean, even if you like the favorite here, Matas Buzelis here, it's plus 110 on DraftKings. BetMGM has it at minus 110. So pretty big difference on that one as well. Okay, number 6 here, Charlotte Hornets, a team that I don't know what they think they need. Obviously, they're going to build around LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges might be on the move. They do have a center in Mark Williams who has been pretty good but injury prone, so they could go Klingon if Klingon is here. Connect is going to be the top betting favorite here at plus 200, but we have him going 5th here. So I could see Matas Buzelis going here at plus 550 for some good value. Stephon Castle is basically a point guard, so I don't know if they would go point guard with having LaMelo Ball on the roster as well. But more value here, I think Cody Williams does make sense for this team. They are looking for, slasher, playmaker here, and I think they could jump to Cody Williams at plus 900. The 7th overall pick for me is a stumper because I have no idea what Portland is doing with their team. They have 2 young guards that are fairly promising, and they have a big man in DeAndre Ayton that's promising, and honestly some promising wings like Shaedon Sharpe. And then they also have Jeremy Grant here locked up for a ton of money. So I don't really know what position they think they need, which makes this really hard to predict for pick 7. So honestly, I'm staying away from this. You can see they're all pretty big underdogs here at plus 400 being the favorite when we get down to pick 7. So personally, I'm staying away from pick 7. Pick 8 is another interesting one for me. I think the Spurs go Topic here. I think they were interested in him at pick 4, and now that he's been injured, I think that they see some great value here to let him slide down to them with their 2nd pick at pick 8 and take him here. And it's plus 1,100 for Topic to be drafted by the Spurs, who historically draft a ton of international players. They do need a point guard. If they don't go point guard with pick 4, where they could take Stephon Castle, I do think they get a point guard at 8, and I think Topic for them makes a ton of sense here. It's plus 1,100, another great value here that could be had. So definitely an interesting one, I think. And that's one of my strongest opinions, is that the Spurs, if they stay at 8, they go Topic here, as long as they don't go point guard 4th overall. Okay, number 9 is also interesting to me because I think that Memphis does want to get a big man here, and I think that Klingon could slide. So if Klingon doesn't go 2nd overall, I don't see him going to Houston at 3 that has Sengun. San Antonio obviously has Wemby. Detroit has Jalen Duren, who honestly I think is better than Klingon. And then at 6, Charlotte does have Mark Williams, but they could also be in play for Klingon. Pick 7, the Blazers have Ayton. 8, And we're back to the Spurs. So I think it is possible Klingon slides all the way to 9 if he's not taken in the top 2. And then you're getting him at plus 1,200 here, which is definitely pretty interesting to me. If Klingon is gone, I think Memphis goes with an explosive scorer. So that would either be Ron Holland or Dillingham. But I would lean toward Holland here. It is plus 600, so not the best odds when you're talking about trying to predict the 9th pick exactly. But I would either go Holland here, or for twice the value, go Klingon. And if you are going Klingon, an insane arbitrage betting opportunity here. Klingon is plus 1,800 over on MGM compared to plus 1,200 on DraftKings. So for the sake of the video, because we're making this slip on DraftKings, I'll go Holland here because the value is so much better over on MGM. An insane arbitrage opportunity. You know, you would be betting $10 to win 130 on DraftKings, or $10 to win 190 on BetMGM. So you're basically leaving $60 on the table by taking this one if you do like Klingon on DraftKings versus MGM on a $10 bet. So insane, the arbitrage opportunities. I've said this so many times in the video now, but it is true. Okay, I'm going to leave it at the top 9 because after we stop getting out of the top 9 here, it gets much harder to predict, in my opinion. So we're going to leave it at the top 9. And the insane thing about the NBA draft is if we come look at our slip, we have 7 $10 bets right now. If Sarr does go number 1 and nothing else hits, we break even on this. If Klingon goes 2nd overall and nothing else hits, we make $100 because the payout is 170 over here. I mean, even if we get Dalton Connect 5th overall and nothing else, we're still going to profit $40 by putting all these bets. Cody Williams, if he goes 6th, we're going to profit $30. Topic, if he goes 8th, we're going to profit $50. Holland, if he goes 9th, we're going to break even on all our bets if that's the only thing we do hit. If we hit on at least 2 of these, we're easily doubling our money here, probably more, maybe a 3x on our money. And if we hit 3, 4, or 5 of these, we've really made a lot of money, honestly, on these bets. And if you're taking half of these on DraftKings and then half on MGM or another sportsbook that has higher payouts, you're going to make even more with that arbitrage betting. So definitely click the link down below to sign up for these sportsbooks. You're going to get the top bonus for each sportsbook, so you're going to have a ton of free money to bet with, and your payouts are going to be higher because you're arbitrage betting. This link directs you right to the welcome bonus on each of the sportsbooks. Okay, so we're not done here yet. There's a ton more bets on DraftKings and other sportsbooks that you could be looking at. You could look at these first to be drafted, and a lot of these I think are almost locks. Cody Williams to be taken before this guy, who I haven't seen him projected in the top 10 anywhere, and I've seen Cody Williams as high as 4th overall and really as low as 10. So I think this one is definitely a good play here. Connect before Devin Carter, who Devin Carter has been rising, but I think Connect is a lock to be top 6 here. And Carter, I don't think he really has a chance to go top 6. So 2 interesting ones there, but obviously not the highest of payouts. Some other interesting bets you could do, which they don't even have the top 3 that we talked about in this video, which was Sarr, Klingon, Shepard. But they do have Sarr, Klingon, and Risache here at plus 4,000, which would be a massive payout, and it's kind of interesting. Another one I wanted to talk about was 17th overall, which obviously is the Los Angeles Lakers here. I do think it is entirely possible that the Lakers draft Bronny James with their first pick. I would imagine that there's a lot of pressure for the Lakers to get Bronny James, and there has been a ton of interest in him, where it is even possible Bronny James slides in to the end of the first round to another team. But an interesting one here at plus 2,500. You know, you could just throw $1 on it to win 26. If the Lakers do end up just using pick 17 to get Bronny James, I mean, in this draft that is supposedly extremely weak in talent, you know, the Lakers are in win now mode. If they don't like anyone here that they think can help them win now, I mean, why not just lock up Bronny James immediately? So I think an interesting one there, and obviously a massive payout on this one. So there are a ton of interesting bets. Obviously a ton of money can be made here if you can predict the top even 3 picks that aren't complete chalk, or like you saw in our top 9, if you can even get 3 or 4 of them right out of 9 picks, you're going to be in the profit here. So definitely some interesting bets to look out for the NBA draft. And definitely, as you saw in this video, you have to be arbitrage betting for the NBA draft. It's just too much money left on the table compared to, random game money lines that, on a $10 bet, it's going to be a difference between winning like 20 or 21. With the NBA draft, you're just leaving so much money on the table by not arbitrage betting that I really think you have to be if you're going to be betting on the NBA draft. So just get as many sportsbooks as you can, compare the lines to the ones you're going to take. If you're going to do something like this, highly recommend just clicking this link down below and signing up for these to get the welcome bonus. You're going to get free money to play with and higher odds and payouts. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of player prop videos on this channel, so we'll see you guys over in that, and hopefully we get an interesting NBA draft.